everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. We'll unpause and repause over on Rumble, of course. Sigil, I keep trying to buy Styx books, but I'm not yet old enough to be allowed in the bookstore section for homoerotic literature. We'll be talking about various news today, by the way. We've got this Mom Donnie nonsense needs to stop. The Democrats at this point have become just totally self-destructive. It's like watching somebody who, cuts themselves constantly, and they're bleeding more and more, and you're trying to get them help, but they refuse the help. That's basically the Democratic Party today. We've got Gen Z women. We've got to talk about them. I have no problem with Gen Z women, by the way. Leaving the left, adopting lifestyle conservatism. Again, this is going to be a nuanced take on that one. Tarantulas are on the move and will swarm during mating season in certain states. Arachnids are more afraid of you and only bite out of fear, expert says. Yeah, apparently the spiders have decided to go on an orgy, and so they're going to be all over the place. That'll be fun. I'm sure people in Florida will like that. We have, unfortunately, the Ketchup Smoothie article did not archive, actually. But it is actually true. I was sent this by several people, and apparently Heinz is making a ketchup smoothie, so I'll be talking about that. The Democrats are trapped in a hell of their own making. I happen to agree with this article. What exactly is the Russia hoax? Yes, indeed, the left is still talking about this. I have various thoughts with regards to that particular article. It makes no sense. Why would you continue haranguing about something that's been completely discredited? The Democrats apparently think this is a good idea. It's very inexplicable to me. I have this happen all the time. When I go through the news, sometimes I'll see articles about something, and I'll be like, why are you even talking about this? It makes no pragmatic sense. It doesn't serve any purpose. You're basically hitting yourself in the face. The hell is your problem? But the liberals are doing it more and more. It used to be that the Republicans were doing it most of the time. They would, talk about some issue, they would talk it to death, and then they would fuck themselves. Sort of like that dude from The Blaze, that dude that used to be on Fox News that got fired with the black chalkboard. Can't even remember his name. There's a reason for that. And I'm a political analyst. There's a reason for this. Yeah, we're going to be talking about ketchup smoothies. I'm going to have to get one, I think. Ah, yes, what do fuck? Glenn Beck. Yes, that's the name. Yeah, Glenn Beck spent years and years putting up his black chalkboard, and he would have pictures and weird shit on there, and he would try to connect Obama to everything wrong in the world. And it was a bit of an obsession. Eventually it got old, and he got fired. Well, the liberal legacy media is basically doing the same thing with Trump. It's really no different when you think about it. Steven Nizek, Democrats. Who will pick your crops? Pre-Civil War Northern smallholder farmers enter the chat. Yeah, that was one of the favorite videos that I've ever made, ever actually. The NIMBYist liberals have come out in, due force and formed like an army to say, we need more illegal immigrants because otherwise the arugula, the avocados, all of the, cash crops that we want to eat, they won't be picked. Oh my God, the farmers will suffer. That's just the excuse, though. They don't give a shit about the farmers. They look down on the farmers. What they give a shit about is getting their avocado toast. And so the hypocrisy is pretty rife on that particular story. I would like to double the size of the garden. I won't have to buy avocado toast. I'll just grow a couple of avocado plants in my office or something like that. Mark Rudkin, hola mi amigos. That's what I'm talking about. That reminds me, at some point later this year, when the off season comes, when there's literally nobody else there, because gringos will think it too cold, I want to go to South Padre Island down in southern Texas. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's get to the sponsors before we get to the news. Yes, indeed, we have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. I take them every single morning. There's a reason why I'm so peppery and filled with vigor. And you can also get doggo snacks now as well. Again, highly in demand. You wouldn't believe the way the doggo was looking at the bag of those after she ate a couple. It was pretty funny, actually. It was a source of humor. I'm like, you've got to pace yourself, BiltongUSA.com, where you can get Wagyu, you can get Angus, you can get Cabanassi, you can get bison, you can get venison, you can get pretty much any meat that you want from Anton. Anton's got you covered. We've also got Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts available, as well as other things. For instance, Vegemite, Marmite, and so forth. And then finally, we've got jamandbean.com. Jam and Bean coffee roasters. Oh, it smells so good. Yeah, the other bags aren't going to last long. There's a reason for that. You pour a bit of that into your drip filter, and then you just, you drink it, basically. It's coffee. It's got caffeine. They've also got the Yunnan Jig. There's the Fireside. There's the Healer. There's a bunch of teas available as well. You can put those through a drip filter also, and I find that it works perfectly well. You can also just put it into a kettle and then strain it out. It depends on the person. You do whichever you want, but you can put it through a drip filter, and it comes out perfectly fine, at least by my standards. So yeah, use code STICKS on all three of these sites for a discount. We'll get to the news in a moment. I'm still, what the fuck? Salty Reese's Cup. Fucking styrofoam. Clunk. I know the feel. When people ship me things, sometimes they use styrofoam. And, you get those little chunks of styrofoam, all over the floor. And they're always static electric, so they cling to everything that they encounter. And it's a little bit difficult, actually. Broken Prophet. Pick them berries, damn it. We've got plenty of berries waiting. The blueberries are ripening. There are 8 bags of it in the freezer at the moment. The raspberries didn't do that well this year. And the blackberries, they looked like they were going to produce a lot, but then they kind of didn't. And so that leaves us with thimbleberries and blueberries mainly. And black raspberries. All 3 of those did well. Tarred and feathered. Holy balls, the salt flows tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Super Kyle, have you had your Bovrite yet this morning, Sticks? No, actually. Unfortunately, no. The Bovrite is actually in the other room because it was being used for other purposes. Danily says, yo. Well, yo to you too, man. Yeah, we've got all sorts of news topics to cover today. This is going to be a bit of a bant stream. It's going to be more on the funny side than anything else. But there are some things that we do need to cover that are of a more serious purpose. Municipal grocery stores are sensible and obvious. Where did this come from? Let's see. Oh, it's from Jacobin. Why am I not surprised? Yeah, Jacobin is trying to simp for Mamdani. And the idea is that actually having government run grocery stores is a good idea. It's not a good idea. We've tried this before, over and over again. Since the socialist period, dawning at the dawn of the 20th century, multiple countries, the Soviet Union famously, the United States to an extent, and others, have tried to incept the idea that government should run commerce, basically. That government should get itself involved in groceries, especially things related to food, construction equipment, things like that. It has never worked, not once. To my recollection, it has always been an unmitigated disaster. It costs more, it prices out the local businesses that you want to thrive, preferably, if you're in favor of the working class, you want the working class businesses to thrive, and it just crushes them. Because the government will take taxpayer money, subsidize things, things will seem cheaper, but at the same time, they're destroying local industries. The government can't run anything. It's incapable of being solvent. Closest thing that you get to government solvency in the United States are programs like SNAP and WIC, which are food related, admittedly, but they take advantage of private businesses. So the government is simply transferring some degree of welfare to the private business to purchase basic necessities for people. They have kids, they're poor, and something like that. And that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with a marginal amount of my tax money going to WIC or similar services. I'd be a hypocrite if I did actually complain about it. I got WIC as a kid. I've taken food stamps before. I don't begrudge people that, because at the very least, it's not going to bombing people in the third world. That's fine. But having directly government-run grocery stores is a totally different animal. Some people will try to equate the two. Well, you believe in food assistance, but you don't want people to be able to go and get subsidized food at a government grocery store. Yeah, but the thing is that we've tried that. It doesn't work. It ends up being a complete disaster every time that it has been implemented. When you have the government grocery store with subsidized prices, it's basically like a steroid addled version, a souped up version of a co-op, basically. And the government's going to screw it up. You know that it will, because they screw everything up. They can't get anything right. I want the government to be as absent from everyone's lives as possible. A better idea would be get government out of the agricultural industry, get it as far out of the food industry as possible, make sure the food is safe, but beyond that, there should be no real further regulations. That's the only thing that you need to do. If we can do that, food prices would drop by a double-digit margin. Inflation would be negated, because that's really the problem that you have right now. And there's no reason to have subsidized food or anything like that. It doesn't need to exist at all, honestly. The government is the worst thing in the world that you can put in as a taskmaster for any particular purpose. The government is the worst. If you have a private business, it's got a profit motive. So they're going to try to drop their prices as low as possible to try to get more people on board with their product. They're going to try to maintain quality as best they can so that people don't, get food poisoning or something from their product. What's the government going to do? Well, we have limitless resources because we can just rob more from the taxpayers. What exact reason do we have to provide a quality product that won't get people sick? None. That's the whole problem. And this is what the Soviet Union learned the hard way, and multiple other countries too, and hopefully the United States won't have to learn the same hard lesson. Sartorius grab-and-go city foods. Yeah, those are profuse in New York City. Actually, some of them are pretty good. You can go and get a hot dog, you just grab it, throw some cash at them, and then, you walk down the street eating your hot dog. I would much prefer that over the US government controlling the food supply. Now, Mamdani is talking mainly about like city control, but this really, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so New York City is going to have government-run grocery stores. How is this going to impact the thousands and thousands of people that do have food carts? The tens of thousands of people that have restaurants? It's going to crush them. It makes absolutely no sense. Sigil, time to call Razor Fist a Zionist again. I like Razor Fist. I know that you don't like him particularly, but he's my brother from another mother. Gen Z women leaving the left, adopting lifestyle conservatism. Let me tell you about this. I have talked with plenty of Gen Z ladies, some of which are really hot, by the way. Some of them are genuinely moving towards conservatism. Some of them, they've left the leftoidism behind because they don't find it palatable. They want to have a traditionalistic lifestyle, whatever it happens to be. There are others, though, that are adopting like the cottagecore thing just to make Instagram selfies. And so it's a little bit of a mixed bag. It's sort of like with millennials, actually. With millennials, you have some millennials like myself who have genuinely rejected liberalism because it doesn't work, it makes no sense, and we were lied to. But then you have others that will claim to have left it behind, and really they're still kind of liberals, and they're just pretending, if that makes sense. Seems like about the same thing. I personally think that Gen Z is better than the millennials. The younger generation is more with it, so to speak. That is, that Gen Z, especially females, but Gen Z in general, is more aware of what's going on. Whereas millennials, generally speaking, a lot of them, they were not even fucking self-aware, honestly. This is why I've made several videos on the topic, that the kids are all right. Randall Flagg, I get the reference. Sticks, you have a green thumb. So my question is, why there are so many large farms in Vermont, like Cabot, when the growing season is so short and frost is expected in a couple weeks? By the way, I've got the hiccups, my apologies. Is Big Ag lying to us? No. People start their seedlings inside, and so, the growing season is extended generally. Yeah, I've got the hiccups right now. I need more water. My apologies for that. Adam Berger, drinking a lot does that. No, drinking too little does that. It's still a heat wave right now, and it's muggy, and it's going to get up to 95 degrees in a few days. Wonderful. How wonderful, yeah. Almost thinking about eating some peanut butter or something like that. Yeah, I get the hiccups sometimes, unfortunately. I'm getting a call. Is it an important one? You never know. Jesus Christ. semi-important. But anyway, as far as Gen Z women leaving the left, again, some of these individuals are just being like, they're going cottage core or something like that. So it's really just keeping up appearances. I know that it's a little bit of a trend among younger females. With others, though, it is definitely it's more genuine, if you get it. That is, that they're actually leaving the left because, for ideological reasons, they're like, there's nothing here for me. It doesn't make any sense for me to side with these people. Why don't I just go with the other team? Now, it is a little bit dichotomous when you think about it. It's because there is no left and right. There is no us and them. The dichotomy doesn't exist. But if they're going to side with a side, it makes sense for them to go with the conservative movement more. That's because they want to have a man to provide for them, have children, so forth, etc., etc. Yeah, I've got a bad case of the hiccups at the moment. Unfortunately. Yeah, apparently the fashionable thing is to claim that I'm drinking alcohol all day. That is not the case. I've had cases of the hiccups for quite some time, since long before I was of drinking age. Jeff D. USMC, Semper. Perhaps government food stores are a good idea, exclusively for EBT SNAP recipients, however. Only healthy food available eliminates actual dollar value of card and thus eliminates fraud. Need ID or card to enter. Yeah, you could do that. There was an article the other day that was complaining about the reduction in SNAP benefits for people, and they were talking about how some stores were going to be unable to function actually without SNAP beneficiaries in certain locations. BW, you think Texas will get that map passed? Yes. Cody Golden, are you aware Clanker is becoming a slur for AI? Yes, a very large number of people have forwarded that to me. Jesus H. Christ. I have to keep slugging down the water. Meisner Flux. When YouTube stops notifying for live streams, third in a row, I double the donation. Fuck the system. By the way, can you explain the totalitarian tiptoe YouTube has done since the late 2000s? Western exists embracing Chinese model. Yeah, that's what I think that they're doing. It looks like China is going to end up leading the internet more than anything. The Western world seems uninterested in actually protecting free expression and the right to privacy in the Western world. There are attempts being made, of course, but most countries seem to have just thrown up their hands and given up more than anything else. I'm going to take a quick break and try to solve my hiccup problem here by chugging cold water, actually. I noticed that cold water seems to work better than, lukewarm water. Green Text Pro, I love slant piggies. Oink, oink, oink. Yeah, I'll be right back. Delicious goat meal. Sticks hiccuping is actually very adorable. Yeah, I unsuccessfully attempted to drain myself with a shit ton of water and also peanut butter, but the hiccups are still there. Salty Reese's cup. Just shoot up some meth. Copium Pops, 1 out of 3. Hey, if any of you know a guy named Jason Neptune on X, beware. He's been following us for months, and we thought he was but he DM'd us yesterday, claimed to be recruiting for the NSA. Not sure if actually a Fed or trolling, but he blocked us when I suggested meeting at a field office to discuss things further, so I knew it was legit. This tells me either way, the dude is up to something sketchy. Sticks, check your DMs. We sent a post with the screenshots in the replies. I'll have to do that. Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, I'm BW, you missed my chat about Texas map, Sticks. I tried doing the breathing method. I tried peanut butter. I tried water. I tried everything. Oh no, BW, I did address that. I do believe that the map will be passed. Shit. Copium Poppies, you also missed our chat before the public service announcements. My apologies. I try to get to them all. It can be difficult. You gotta keep in mind, I've still got several news stories to cover, and I've got the hiccups. How wonderful. I think I might have suppressed them. Tarantulas are on the move and will swarm during mating season in certain states. Texas, Arizona, and so forth. Yeah, apparently there's going to be a huge swarm of tarantulas. It's sort of like when you get a huge swarm of cicadas, and then you can hear them at night. I remember that one year, there was a cicada, and it was horny, man. And it was doing its horny sounds right outside of the office window. This was back when this was a bedroom, actually. And so I had my bed in here. And it was hot as fuck, so I had to keep the windows open because even with a fan, you were sweltering. And then the cicada was outside, right outside on the bushes, and it kept doing its like screechy matey thing, like, hey, take my cicada cock, basically. And I had to deal with that for a couple of months. It's a difficult issue. My hiccups have gone away, it seems. Copium Poppies, try drinking water from a mug, but from the far end rather than the part closest to you. I don't know exactly what you mean, but maybe that would work. I just held my breath for a while there. Yeah, so tarantulas, apparently, they're going to swarm like cicadas. This will only be in the southern states, so if you're like in New Mexico or Texas or something like that, better watch out. Thankfully, the tarantulas are also tasty. If you can capture a few of them, you can roast them on a fire get rid of the hairs, and actually, apparently, they're pretty tasty. They're pretty good. Copium poppies. It's a hiccup cure. Tarred and feathered. Praying to the Indian elephant god does not cure hiccups. You mean Ganesh? Yeah, no, I ate weird food earlier, and so I got the hiccups. Whoops. Zachary Antle, aren't tarantula bites non-lethal to humans? There's only one species of tarantula called the baboon tarantula. It has stripes on its legs, and I believe it's native to Indonesia, if I remember correctly. There's only one that is particularly dangerous to humans, but I can imagine it would hurt anyway, considering the size of their fangs. I've eaten scorpion, I've eaten tarantula, I'll eat 'em all. I will eat the bugs, but I won't do it if it's mandatory. I will only do it for play, because it's fun. I was that kid that ate, like ants and shit like that when I was a kid. I still remember that one fond time. There were some rice snacks in the closet in school, and this was the room that was directly adjacent to the play area. And I think it was fourth grade, maybe third grade, something around there. And there were ants crawling all over the rice snacks. They had been eating them. And I told one of my friends, "Hey, I'm gonna eat a handful of these ants." And they swore that I wouldn't do it, but then I did it. And actually, they were not bad. A little bit on the acidic side, but if you ground them up, you could probably use them in a sort of sauce if you really wanted to. Something that's more vinegary. And it was pretty funny. They swore up and down I wouldn't eat them, but I ate them. Yeah, it's just so hot and humid right now. Patch Christ, why would you eat bugs? They're bad for humans' respiratory system. Well, as a kid, you eat a handful of ants or something like that. Or you eat a couple of worms just to piss off the girls on the playground. That's always a good idea. Yeah, I used to do that sort of shit. I can't wait to make the rest of the mad cards later. Taste of Country. Heinz and Smoothie King introduce world's first ketchup smoothie. Will you try it? My answer is yes, absolutely. I'm gonna try the ketchup smoothie. It sounds good to me. Well, it doesn't sound like it'll taste good, but it sounds, interesting at least. I like how they have the pictures of the Simply tomato ketchup, by the way, flanking it. Yeah, apparently they're making a smoothie, and it's a partnership between Heinz, which is owned by the wife, by the way of John Kerry, and Smoothie King. And they're going to make a new smoothie, and it's going to be ketchup flavored. Yeah, I'm interested in trying it. I will probably do that on this channel because it sounds fun. And it's like, it doesn't have to be healthy. It doesn't have to be healthy all the time. Sometimes you can have something that does have corn syrup and shit in it, which is what Heinz basically more or less is. So I'm going to be trying the tomato ketchup smoothie, I guess it's called, and seeing exactly how it is. It might take a while for me to get one, but when I do get it, I will definitely do a taste test. Sigil, it's Kraft and Heinz. Oh, oh, Kraft is. That brings up another funny story. There was this one time I was watching this really sub B rated movie. It was a kung fu movie. I watched it with my mom, and it was about this dude that did karate, and he was fighting dinosaurs and weird shit like this. And some of the scenes, they literally had like those little plastic toy dinosaurs, and they were clearly diddling them along the screen, and then they fell off a cliff or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And this was back, by the way, when I was, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't using drugs or anything like that, but I had no fucking clue what was going on. I'm looking at this movie and I'm saying to myself, what the hell am I even watching, basically? It was insane. And then apparently it was catered by Kraft. Kraft actually catered the movie. So I'm thinking of this like Kung Fu Warrior and a bunch of people playing with animatronic dinosaurs, eating macaroni and cheese, and that's probably about what happened. It was pretty great. Yeah. Tarred and feathered, most spiders love to drink Dr. Pepper. I like Dr. Pepper Zero. The Democrats are trapped in a hell of their own making. Oh boy, is this true, by the way. America, the place made Trump. America Online destroyed the Democrats. This has to do with their continuing obsession with certain issues. This is fundamentally correct. The Democratic Party has decided to fuck off under the wheels of a bus, basically. It's not that Trump is strong. Okay, he is a strong candidate. He's doing good diplomatically. He's doing good on the economy. There are many good things about Donald Trump. He's a good president, but he's not invincible. But the Democrats, that normally they're the party that would, launch in and develop a strategy to try to unseat him, or at the very least, stave off MAGA or something like that. They have no clue what they're doing. Their movements so far look so discoordinated, look so unstrategized, that I can't do anything but shake my head. I'm actually confused about the current Democratic Party. Normally, the Republicans are the stupid party. The Democrats are the evil party. So the Republicans, you'll hand them a victory and they'll freak out and they'll say, oh no, and they'll drop it on the ground, basically. The Democrats, you hand them a victory and they're like, we're going to run with this. That's basically the way that it works within U.S. politics generally. But that's not the way that it's working right now. Instead, you have a triumphant Trump who doesn't give a shit, and you have a Democratic Party that's so badly discoordinated, it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. So, I'm perplexed myself as somebody who's been doing this for, well, now almost 20 years. I'm actually perplexed at how the Democrats got it so wrong. It makes no sense. The leader of your party is effectively Chuck Schumer. The other leaders, Cory Booker, the egotist who wants to be Obama, quite clearly. I don't think that anyone has, even liberals, I think, understand that. And then Gavin Newsom, the amphetamine addict. Those are the attaches. Nancy Pelosi, meanwhile, who is ironically the sane woman in the room, she's nowhere to be found. These people don't know what the hell they're doing in any way, shape, or form. It's inexplicable. I've never seen something like this in politics before. It's like the party has decided we don't want to exist anymore. So just put us out of our misery. That's basically what the Democrats are doing at the moment. And it's kind of sad. I've told people before, I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm not naturally inclined to side with that political party. I would rather side with the Democrats, but they don't offer me anything to side with. It's basically just Orange Man bad. Okay, well, Orange Man is doing a reasonable job. What are you offering me in comparison? Absolutely nothing. Well, then I'm not going to vote for you. You fuck yourself. What exactly is the Russia hoax? Now, this is an interesting article. The left-wing media is still, to this day, trying to pretend that the Russia hoax is real. That Donald Trump really was controlled by Vladimir Putin for years. That he still is controlled by Vladimir Putin. That there was no actual cover up or anything like that with regards to the Steele dossier or anything like that. No, that's just all conspiracy theories. The problem is we know that this is all false. Here's the real facts. Donald Trump is not controlled by the Russians. Donald Trump isn't even a friend of Vladimir Putin. Actually is currently strong-arming him at the moment. The intel agencies that said that Donald Trump was controlled by Russia were wrong. In some cases, they were just organically wrong. We'll admit to that. In some cases, though, they knew that they were wrong. They were well aware of the fact that they were using doctored bullshit. And that's really what happened. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is reality. When the legacy media pretends that it's a conspiracy theory, it's laughable, actually. But they keep doing it. And mainly they seem to be attacking Tulsi Gabbard, of all people, with regards to this. Gabbard and Stefanik, more than anyone else. More than even attacking Donald Trump, in some cases, actually. Sigil, everyone, stop what you're doing. It finally happened. What happened? Did you finally take a shit? I think Sigil Stone took a shit. We're gonna see what the update is as to whether you took a shit. Oh, Sigil sneezed. Update! Sigil Stone sneezed successfully. Ooh, a corn syrup glazed crab. Yeah, that is one thing. I have to agree with the Europeans on one thing. This is now a Bant stream, by the way. I have to agree with the Europeans on one thing. American food is inferior. It simply is. And we need to get used to that fact. European food is simply superior. It has less preservatives and dyes and all sorts of this other crap that goes into our food supply. So yeah, I'm going to side with the Dutch on this one. Let the Dutch design our food supply. I guarantee people will be 50% healthier very quickly. BW, Sticks, I gotta ask. What is that red thing with the pointy head and the ring on it on your desk? Red thing with the pointy head. And the ring. Well, if you're talking about this is Stolas. Yes, indeed. My demon friend, my personal friend. It's a likeness of him. Semi-realistic. Just saying. I'm assuming that's what you were referring to. You could have been referring to Maggie the squirrel, though. This is from a Polish video series, actually. You should watch it. Just look it up. Poradnik Osmieszu. It's a very strange series. It's my kind of humor. Adam Berger, he's talking about the red dildo on your desk. Oh, you mean this? Oh, this is a training knife. Yeah. Um, Basically, there's a blade called a butterfly blade, and this is the training blade for it, basically. You know, you literally just stab somebody, you know? It's meant to kill. Remon C GTC, the thing that looks like a butt plug. No, this is a blade. This one is not yet sharpened. It's a training blade. The butterfly blade, meanwhile, you bury that in someone's back. Yeah, they're probably not going to last that long. Joe Booty, 5 soldiers shot on a U.S. military base. Let me check that. Oh yeah, we've got breaking news. There is a military base in lockdown at Fort Stewart. Actually, this is from an Army airfield. It's in Georgia. The base is in lockdown currently. There is an active shooter at this time. We don't have any further results. American, where do you go for that info immediately? Well, I just Google it if somebody gives me breaking news or something like that. Otherwise, I generally use RCP. There are casualties reported. Let me see. Let me look into this a little bit more just for a minute. 5 soldiers have been shot and have been transported to the hospital for further treatment. The shooter was apprehended and there is no longer an active threat to the community. The Army base is 40 miles southwest of Savannah. Schools in the area were also placed on lockdown. Okay. So the shooter has been neutralized, but it looks like there are multiple casualties. Personally, I think that, well, post comitatus is a thing. I think that within Army base territory, soldiers should be able to carry their firearms. I think that this would be probably better because we've had a number of shootings on Army bases and things like that. And it just sort of makes sense to allow them to defend themselves. They are still U.S. citizens, you know. They're not trying to occupy anything or anything like that. Give them their guns. Ubuk. The shooter was using a SIG 320 and it eventually shot him. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that story, I guess. Nitro Martini, you look like a complete idiot in that outfit. Should tell that to all the people that compliment me when I walk down the street. Hundreds of them, actually. The Gunslinger, servicemen carry, but only the MPs. PW. Their recipes and what they eat suck, Sticks. Only their food quality is better. Ah, Spocko, thank you for the reference. No fighting in the war room. Yeah, the Pink Panther is telling you, cut this shit out. I loved that movie. I've watched Doctor Strangelove. God, I probably watched it 70 or 80 times or something like that. Gentlemen, don't you know where you are? There's no fighting in the war room. And then the dude's taking pictures from his watch and shit. Now people are talking about SIGs. This is going to devolve into a SIG versus Glock argument. I can already tell. I am Team Glock. I like Glocks. Can't have one at the moment, but, in general. Charms. Yes, you missed the tarantula story, but apparently the tarantulas are swarming at the moment. So there's going to be a proliferation of giant spiders the size of your hand crawling all over the place, being horny and putting their spider cocks into spider pussies. Yeah, sounds really fun. The gunslinger. Fuck it, just give us back the 1911s. Agreed. You are a man of taste. Yeah, so apparently there was a shooting at Fort Stewart within the last hour, actually. But the shooter has been neutralized. 5 people have been casualties, but I believe they're expected to survive. Now everyone's gonna talk about fucking pistols and shit. Honestly, I kind of want to get one of those old school black powder pistols. Well, 2 of them, just to complete the piratical look. And I'm allowed to have them. Nobody can tell me no. They're not considered firearms under, national firearm law. Under the NFA, for some bizarre reason, most old school black powder weapons, they're not actually considered firearms at all. Even the ones that are revolvers. So you could have a couple of old school Colts, even newly manufactured, and just put the powder and the ball in, and nobody can really do anything about it. It makes absolutely no sense. Because that'll hit harder than a 22 anyway. So you can blow a person's brains out with a 47 or something like that, but you can't actually get a 22 snub. That makes a lot of sense. It's retarded. Turtle's Toy Box. Sticks, you can get an official hook hand after you have an accident mishandling your flintlock. Lol. I know how to use a flintlock, actually. That's not a problem. Sean Murphy, have you ever been in a man's locker room? Well, yeah, who hasn't? When you go to the pool and shit like that. Storm, you a felon? No, I am not. I am not a felon. Although I know another person who's very shortly going to become one. Kino, you've been in a men's locker room? Or used a flintlock? Why does it smell like cat piss in here? Give me a fucking second. All right, everyone. I have no idea what just happened. All of a sudden, I just got this massive scent of cat piss, actually. And we've got 4 cats here, so it could have been any one of them, actually, in the hallway or something like that. Ramon C. GTC, the kitty pissed live. That is so metal. That wasn't me this time. And sometimes I piss on the wall, just for show. But this wasn't me. This was definitely a kitty. This was not me. Let me see here. Adam Berger, the New Orleans incident. Yeah, tossing a phone to someone can be costly. Girl of the Valley, Styx is the bringer of light. Yes, indeed, I am. The days are numbered. Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit more news if we can. Let's get on to RCP. I'm a Democrat who left Texas. Here's why I did it. I can already tell you why you did. Because you're retarded. Dems howling at Texas redistrict could take a look in a mirror. Yeah, I thought this was funny. This was actually on Colbert last night. Colbert was looking at the map of Illinois and the gerrymandering of the districts there. And oh god, it's just basically like, you could make this into a puzzle for children or something like that. Illinois is one of the most gerrymandered states in the entire nation. But the Democrats decided to flee there because they were trying to prevent quorum in Texas for redistricting purposes. Now, Texas's redistricting, of course, it's for a political purpose. We all know this. That's the only reason why you would redistrict in general anyway. We're already aware of that. It's not a surprise. But to flee to Illinois, of all places, you mean the place where Abraham Lincoln in 1840 literally jumped out of a window to help prevent quorum? Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Illinois has been redistricted over and over and over again for more than 100 years. So when the Democrats decide to flee there with Pritzker in order to avoid having to take part in the vote for Texas, everyone found nothing but humor in this. It was hysterical. And yeah, that's been a thing for multiple days. People have been laughing about that. And like, ha ha ha, look at the state that you decided to go to. Even the liberal commentators are harping on them. Hey, here's a map of the congressional districts in Illinois. Are you really sure that you want to flee there, especially for, your purposes? It might not be that best of an idea. I mean, even Colbert, Marr, and all of the other reasonably intelligent liberals, they're trying to sway the Democrats away from doing this sort of thing because they're completely insane. But they won't listen to them. These are people that are like broken clocks. They're only right twice a day. But at the very least, there is some sanity there. You won't even listen to them. And when people like me say, you're being completely insane, you certainly won't listen to us. So, I don't know. At some point, you just gotta shrug your shoulders and say it's funny. Mm. And that's what it is. It's hilarious. And it's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? DOJ moves forward with Russiagate grand jury. That will go nowhere, by the way. The DOJ grand jury, while well intentioned, ultimately is not going to have any findings. It's going to find non committal bullshit and do what grand juries tend to do and say, look, these people probably fucked up, but we don't have enough evidence of it, so there's nothing that we can do about it. That's basically what the DOJ is going to do in this particular case. People are now recommending me firearms. Yeah, it's funny, there are some firearms that aren't registered as firearms under the NFA, actually. I've looked this up a number of times. Trade victories are stacking up. Another thing you won't get from the legacy media. That's from American Greatness, by the way. But anyway, fuck the news. There's a lot of horniness in chat. Again, you just have to DM me on Twitter. No problems. He said, pardon me, ladies, just doing my duty. DYDNGMSB. I have no clue what that refers to, by the way. Star. Baron, bear with me, please. Girl of the Valley appears to be, juicing herself. Nothing wrong with that. Turtle's Toy Box. I reported Styx's last video, not because he said nigga, but because he didn't use a hard R. Yeah, YouTube doesn't have a problem with that because, otherwise every rap song ever made would not exist on the platform. But if you call another person that particular name, then they have a problem with it. Spectre Guy, Styx, what's better than roses on your piano? Being able to play piano. I wish I could. Clanker with the hard R. Mad move. Sticks could kill a bitch with a potato cannon. Death by hair stray and carbs. Yeah, no, you can actually make those. It's weird. You can take like PVC piping and you can put like hairspray or some other sort of canister in there. And if you have a firing mechanism, you can fire a potato out of that like it's a goddamn RPG. You could probably take out a helicopter with that shit. Be funny if you could. I'd like to try it sometime. So yeah, we're getting horny on here, you know, and everything else. Nobody cares. Anyways, though, I'm gonna let you all go. I've got to get my shit docketed for tomorrow, and then I've got to obviously get my shit together for tomorrow's live stream as well, and then we'll go live tomorrow. That's about all. Peace out.